In today's video, we're going to be talking about the end of the GTA series, what Rockstar might be doing a couple years from now, and all the questions that you guys had for me in this week's Q&A video. Now, as always, if you guys want to get involved in the next one, all you got to do is go down in the description, follow me on Twitter, and just be sure to use that hashtag AskBoss, and you might find yourself featured in the next one. With all the way, let's not waste any more time, and let's get it started. All right, our first question today comes from RDR2 Hype, who says, do you think GTA 6 will be the last GTA game in the series? I find it highly unlikely, but you never know. Maybe Rockstar decides they want to go in another direction, but I think Grand Theft Auto is, number one, far too popular, and number two, far too successful for Rockstar. I mean, I would say it is the backbone of their entire operation, and it's a huge chunk of what Take-Two Interactive does in terms of sales, promotion, etc. So even though GTA 6 doesn't even technically exist yet, I'd find it very hard to believe it will be the last GTA game to ever come out. I mean, I know the saying is all good things eventually have to come to an end, and it's true. We do see that with, movies and TV shows, but that typically doesn't happen until, after multiple attempts. I mean, for the most part, Rockstar has only been making Grand Theft Auto for, the last 20-something years, and in that time, they've only had a handful of games come out just because it does take so long to create them. So, no, I don't think we've seen the last of the GTA games. I think we're going to continue to see them for a long time unless something unprecedented comes out, like a new law happens where video games are banned or like video games aren't popular anymore for whatever reason. So that's like the only thing I could think of. But I don't think we will be seeing that any time soon. Up next, we've got a two-part question from Nathan Williams. The first one is, with the announcement from Sony that soon players on different consoles will be able to play with each other, do you think this will be implemented into Grand Theft Auto Online, or should it be saved for GTA 6 Online? So I am obviously not like a developer for Rockstar Games, but I think it's not possible in this version of Grand Theft Auto Online. I think the games have to be built with the capability of something like that happening. But then again, they've also added it for Fortnite. They've added it for games like Rocket League. So that's why I'm saying I don't know, because that's like a super tech-heavy question for Rockstar. If I did have to take a guess, though, given where we are in Grand Theft Auto Online, where Rockstar is moving on to RDR2, I think, if anything, that feature will be saved for GTA 6's multiplayer version, which I think would be awesome because, like I said, that was always the biggest problem for me growing up. Not being able to play with my friends that only had a PlayStation or only had an Xbox or were on PC. It would have been nice if it didn't matter and we could have all just jumped on the same game, no matter what system we had, and would have been able to play with each other. Now, that certainly does bring up some concerns, as you mentioned in your next question. Do you think the ability for players from different consoles to play with each other would be too dangerous to add to Grand Theft Auto Online, as this could lead to PC players with mods harming console players? Love your vids, by the way. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Nathan. That's a good question. Again, that's another really technical one that I don't really know if I have the direct answer for. Like, someone who's modding on PC, could they have an impact on someone that's playing on PS4 just because they're in the same lobby together? You would think yes, because it's not like the mods have to transfer over to the PS4. The mods are happening in the session. And if you're in the session together, then yeah, you could see someone like that having an impact. So that is another good question that Rockstar would have to ask of themselves, and that might be a reason why we never see something like that. As hopeful as we are, is there too much modding? Is there too much griefing and hacking on the PC version of online, or just in online in general, to even consider something like that? So that's a good question. Maybe in a world where Rockstar doesn't have to deal with stuff like this, we could potentially see it. But that's a really good question, and as Rockstar is a developer, it's something they're definitely going to have to consider. That's for sure. Moving on, though, our next question comes from Andy Davies, who says, since Rockstar has released the Hearse and Patriot, doesn't that pretty much confirm the Halloween content this year? Or will they just release the same content as last year? So yes, Andy, I was a little bit disappointed as well that Rockstar released the Hearse and the Patriot this week, because I feel like these were the final two vehicles that could have had any holiday theme going forward. The Hearse, obviously, with Halloween, and then the Patriot with Thanksgiving. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do for the Halloween surprise. If I had to take a guess, I would say it's just going to be a random event week with Halloween bonuses. Like the Lurcher will go on sale, the Sanctus will go on sale, the Halloween mask and face paint will come back. They might do double money and RP on some adversary modes, but I would say that's about it. I'm going to say it's going to be pretty boring, nothing to like jump out of your seat about. But that isn't shocking because there's really no new content they could add. In fact, I'm going to go out and say there is no new content, like 100%, especially given what they did with the Hearse and the Patriot. So I wouldn't expect anything special, likely just some bonuses, discounts, and sales and all that sort of good stuff. So it'll still be enjoyable, just not all that great. JSM Wolf says, do you think there will be a big DLC around Christmas? And if so, what do you think the theme will be? So to answer the first part of your question, do I think there will be a big DLC? No. I don't think it will be big in the size of the Doomsday Heist or After Hours or the original Heist update. If I had to take a guess, I would say like an update bigger than Cunning Stunt Special Vehicle Circuit, but certainly smaller than like Gun Running or the Doomsday Heist. So it might be a vehicle-based update, whether that's like a Benny-style update, whether that's Tuners and Outlaws, Midnight Club. It might be a naval or a sea-based update. Those are just a couple of the themes that Rockstar haven't tackled yet. It might have something to do with mansions or the Vinewood lifestyle or culture. That'd be pretty cool too. Again, there's a lot of themes that Rockstar could go for here. They could also make up their own theme. They don't really have to, try and mold one after what's already in the world of Los Santos. But I am confident we will get a DLC of some kind. I'm just not sure how big in scale it will be and what the theme will ultimately be either. Now, speaking of a potential theme, Damien says, do you want I'm Not a Hipster Part 2 as the next DLC? So what happened to the legendary I'm Not a Hipster Part 2 update that leakers said were going to be coming into the game? Well, I think that there was a little bit of misinformation there. So I think that there was technically I'm Not a Hipster Part 2, but I don't know if it was an update that was meant to come out, or if it was, I think it was consolidated into just vehicles. Because the Smuggler's Run, After Hours, and the Doomsday Heist, we saw a lot of cars that looked like they could have fit the bill for a Hipsters update. So that's exactly what I think Rockstar did. They sort of scrapped that idea, but they still used all the vehicles that were going to come out in that update, and they ended up putting them in, the last 3 or 4 DLCs that have come out into the game. That's my prediction as far as what happened. And I'm pretty content with a lot of the vehicles that came out. Speaking of vehicles that could have come out in a Hipster update, Twin Flammel says, do you think they could ever add the Reliant Robin in Grand Theft Auto Online? I think it would be a great and fun car. So if you don't know what the Reliant Robin is, or you've never heard of that, you might think it's some pop culture reference from like Batman and Robin. No, it's actually a really silly vehicle. It's a 3-wheeled car, 2 wheels in the back, 1 wheel in the front, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. It was actually featured on Top Gear. I'm sure you know what show that is. There are some crazy versions of this car that people have like modified and tuned up. It looks really, really silly, but it would be totally fun for online. A 3-wheeled car, at that point, it would be kind of interesting, certainly very unique. So yes, I think this vehicle would be a lot of fun for online. I really do think it could be a cool little car that they could add to the game. And what's funny is since we were talking about the I'm Not a Hipster update, I feel like this one would have fit really well. It sort of had that hipsters vibe to it also. So that's kind of funny right there. Our next question comes from Appler, who says, if you had the option to go back and pick if we had gotten more single-player support or multiplayer support for GTA 5 in terms of DLC, which would you pick and how would this have affected sales? This is a really good question, actually. So I would have traded the first year of online DLCs for single-player update. So what do I mean by that? I would have skipped out on the Beach Bum update, the High Life update, the Business update, the Flight School, the Independence Day special. DLCs that didn't add anything other than clothing, guns, and cars, nothing real special. I would have traded all of that for single-player DLC that maybe went into the future, life after the GTA 5 campaign, or went back into the past, exploring the life of Michael, Trevor, or Franklin a little bit more. And I would have started with the multiplayer updates around, Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2. or Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1, I should say. That entire update was pretty good. And then after that, in 2015, we started getting, the Lowriders update. We got Executives and Other Criminals, DLCs that started to be good, actually. So that's what I would have done, sort of a compromise that I think would have worked really, really well. And our final question today comes from Snake134Life, who says, do you think GTA 6 will look as good as RDR2 as far as graphically, even though Leslie Benzies is no longer at Rockstar? So I don't think Leslie Benzies has anything to do with how good the games look. That has a lot to do with Rockstar's design team, the consoles and systems they're working on. I do think not having Leslie Benzies will have an impact on the story. Now, whether that's noticeable or not, I'm not sure. But he was a mastermind when it came to designing the sort of the stories that Rockstar created. So I guess we're really just going to have to wait and see. Like, the only way I would see us noticing this if we get RDR2 and we just hate the story and everyone's like, what the heck was this? But I think that's a very slim chance of that happening. So I don't think we will notice it. And I don't think Leslie Benzies has any impact on the graphics of GTA 6. But anyways, that right there is all the questions that I'm going to be answering in this week's Q&A video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on this video. That would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.